Most people hate being underestimated. They see it as disrespect, an insult, proof that others don't recognize their value. But throughout history, some of the most dangerous individuals operated from exactly that position: ignored, dismissed, overlooked. While everyone was focused on the obvious threat, they were quietly gaining knowledge, building leverage, and positioning themselves for the moment nobody saw coming. Because when people underestimate you, they stop watching you carefully. And that is where the advantage begins. The question is, why have strategists, military commanders, business leaders, and power players repeatedly turned underestimation into a weapon? And why can being overlooked sometimes become more powerful than being admired? Most people spend their lives trying to be noticed. They want recognition for their intelligence, their talent, their ambition, and their achievements. The logic seems obvious. If people recognize your capabilities, opportunities will follow. And sometimes, that's true, but there is a hidden cost that comes with being seen as a threat. The moment people recognize your potential, they begin adjusting their behavior around you. Competitors become cautious, colleagues become defensive, opponents become alert. Every move you make receives greater scrutiny. In other words, visibility attracts resistance. This is why being underestimated can create an advantage that many powerful individuals quietly exploit. When people underestimate you, they lower their guard. They stop paying attention. They assume they already understand you. And that assumption often becomes their biggest weakness. History is filled with examples of individuals who benefited from being dismissed, not because they were naturally superior, but because others failed to take them seriously until it was too late. One of the most dangerous mistakes people make is confusing appearances with capability. Human beings are constantly making rapid judgments. We judge intelligence by confidence, competence by status, influence by visibility, strength by appearance. These shortcuts help the brain process information quickly, but they also create blind spots. A person who appears ordinary may possess extraordinary patience. Someone who speaks little may be gathering information. Someone who receives little attention may be building connections, skills, or resources in complete silence. The problem is that most people are trained to seek immediate validation. They want proof that they matter. They want acknowledgement. They want others to recognize their progress. And because of that desire, they reveal too much too soon. They announce their plans, share every goal, delegate every success, stack approval at every stage of development. Powerful individuals often take a different approach. They understand that premature visibility can create unnecessary obstacles. The moment you reveal an ambition, you invite judgment. The moment you reveal a strategy, you invite interference. The moment you reveal progress, you attract competition. Being underestimated shields you from much of that attention. It allows you to operate without becoming the center of focus. This principle appears repeatedly in military strategy. Throughout history, commanders have often concealed their true strength, allowing opponents to believe they were weaker than they actually were. The objective was simple: encourage overconfidence, because overconfidence is one of the easiest weaknesses to exploit. When people believe they have already won, they stop preparing. When they assume there is no threat, they stop observing carefully. And when observation disappears, mistakes multiply. The same pattern exists in business. Many successful entrepreneurs spent years being ignored before achieving significant influence. During that period, competitors dismissed them. Established players failed to take them seriously. Stories, knowledge, and experience accumulated quietly in the background. Then one day, what looked like an overnight success appeared. But it was never overnight. It was simply hidden from public view. This is one reason why underestimation creates strategic freedom. Freedom to learn without pressure. Freedom to fail without public embarrassment. Freedom to experiment without attracting attention. Most people never experience this freedom because they are too busy trying to prove themselves. They are fighting for recognition before they have built true leverage. And leverage, not attention, is what ultimately changes outcomes. But there is an even deeper psychological layer to this. The real advantage of being underestimated has very little to do with what others think of you. It has everything to do with how their assumptions shape their behavior. Because once people decide you are harmless, insignificant, or incapable, they begin revealing things they would never reveal to someone they perceive as powerful. And that is where the game becomes truly interesting. Because the most valuable advantage isn't that people ignore you. It's what they unknowingly expose when they do. This is where being underestimated transforms from a social inconvenience into a strategic advantage. When people perceive you as harmless, they behave differently around you. They become relaxed, careless, predictable. They reveal information they would normally protect. They speak more openly about their plans, frustrations, weaknesses, and intentions. Not because they trust you, but because they don't see you as a threat. And that is often a critical mistake. One of the most valuable assets in any environment, whether business, politics, leadership, or social dynamics, is information. The person who understands the situation most clearly usually has the greatest ability to influence the outcome. Being underestimated often places you in a unique position to collect that information. People rarely hide their vulnerabilities from those they consider insignificant. They save their defenses for the opponents they respect. That creates an unusual imbalance. The underestimated individual observes everything, while everyone else observes very little. Over time, this information gap becomes powerful because knowledge compounds every conversation, every careless comment, every overlooked detail. Each piece contributes to a clearer understanding of the environment, and understanding creates leverage. This is why many experienced negotiators spend more time listening than talking. They know that every word spoken reveals something, a priority, a fear, a motivation, a weakness. The person speaking often believes they are controlling the conversation. In reality, they may be surrendering valuable information. Meanwhile, the person who is underestimated remains unnoticed, watching, learning, connecting the pieces. This patience is rare because most people are emotionally driven by recognition. They want immediate proof of their value. When someone dismisses them, they feel compelled to respond, to prove themselves, to demonstrate intelligence, to demand respect. But reacting emotionally often destroys the very advantage they possess. The moment you become obsessed with changing someone's perception, you shift your focus away from improving your position. You start chasing validation instead of leverage. Powerful individuals understand something different. Respect earned through results is far more durable than respect demanded through words. They do not waste energy convincing people they are capable. They allow outcomes to make the argument for them. And by the time those outcomes become visible, the opportunity to stop them may already be gone. This is why some of the most successful people seem invisible during their early stages. Nobody pays attention. Nobody expects much. Nobody sees what is happening. Then suddenly, everyone notices. But what appears sudden is usually the result of years spent developing away from the spotlight, away from scrutiny, away from expectations. That period of invisibility becomes an advantage because it allows growth without interference. In many ways, attention is a double-edged sword. It can create opportunities, but it can also create pressure, competition, and resistance. Being underestimated removes much of that burden. It gives you room to build, room to learn, room to make mistakes privately, and room to develop capabilities that others never anticipated. The irony is that many people spend years trying to escape being underestimated, yet some of the most strategic individuals embrace it. They understand that public perception is temporary, positioning is permanent. They know that appearing powerful and being powerful are not the same thing. One attracts attention, the other creates results, and if forced to choose between the two, truly dangerous individuals almost always choose results. Being underestimated is not always a disadvantage. Sometimes it is a form of protection, a shield that allows you to observe more, learn more, and build more than people realize. While others are busy managing their image, you can focus on strengthening your position. And in the long run, position almost always defeats perception, because the people who change the game are rarely the loudest people in the room. More often, they are the ones nobody thought to watch. Think back to a time when someone underestimated you. Did it hold you back, or did it give you an advantage they never saw coming? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes the most valuable lessons about power don't come from success itself. They come from the moments when nobody believed success was possible.